What's up, friends? I recently read Hyperbole and a Half by Allie Brosh, and I initially started reading this book to learn how to better manage people on a daily who deal with anxiety and depression. I've been managing people that has experiences with their anxieties that really impacts their lives, and I don't know, as I began reading it, not only is this book funny, but it also started speaking to me as well. And so I wanted to share my 10 takeaways from the book in hopes that it'll help you because while I don't claim to have life-altering anxiety or depression, I do believe we all have life struggles that send us to anxious and depressive states. So let's get into it. Takeaway 1, small wins are important to boost self-esteem. Allie talks about her dog that she calls the simple dog and how she came to the realization that her dog may be slightly retarded and how she's always questioned her dog's intelligence because of how difficult it was to train her dog. And naturally, dogs always want to please their owner and do a good job. And the fact that her dog couldn't do that was heartbreaking to her. So she found a dog IQ test to find answers, and her dog failed every test. And on the final test, after realizing that her dog wasn't going to succeed, she did the test for her dog, and that's where she says the quote, I finally accepted that she was not going to pass any part of the test, and yes, she was most likely mentally challenged, but damn it, I was not going to let my poor retarded dog feel like she had failed. And so the lesson here is how important small wins are for anyone, because when you think about human nature, as kids, we want to impress our parents, our teachers, our coaches, whatever. I work with kids, and one of the things we do as a form of discipline when a child isn't listening is we celebrate those small wins of them actually listening, because they feel that feeling of doing something that made you as a parent, teacher, coach proud. So they want to do that again. Being celebrated for doing a good job or just putting in that effort of trying to reach some level of satisfaction from the person they're trying to make proud made them feel good, because if it were up to them, they do whatever the hell it is they want to do. It's in the statement of success breeds success. If kids are feeling the sense of being successful, i.e. listening and being celebrated, they are in that moment feeling like they succeeded at listening and get to go home feeling good. They will want to feel that, they want to feel that more, and therefore will do more. And it's the same with adults. That's why we like getting bonuses or raises. We like the recognition because it makes us feel good, and it allows for growth in our self-esteem, no matter how small it is. Takeaway 2, you may be the problem, so recognize when you're getting in your own way. She uses the example of having a plate in your room that you should go put in the kitchen and clean, but instead you let it stay in your room, right, until you feel shame, which then encourages you to do the right thing. She also uses being at the restaurant, at the grocery store, when we should put something back. You know, in times where we'll get something and we should really put it back in its place if we're not gonna buy it, but we end up putting it in an entirely different section. And sometimes we'll even be pretty close to where let's say banana, for example, is supposed to go, but we just go put it with the apples instead because we're lazy. And we look around to see if anyone saw us, because if we did, we'd feel worse about ourselves. If we saw someone looking, we would most likely, go put it back in its right spot, right? So the lesson here is to recognize when you're actively choosing to use shame and fear instead of using, just the willpower within yourself to do the right thing. Another example is going to the gym. We know if we want a certain type of body, we've got to hit the gym consistently, even those times we don't feel like it. And when we don't feel like it, we can't be surprised, or where we don't do it, we can't be surprised if we look in the mirror and be shocked if we don't have the abs or just the body type we want. It's easy for us to stay on TikTok or IG all day, like, man, that's the body I want, you know what I'm saying? But then choose to stay in bed. When we use shame and fear, we're getting in our way. We're defeating ourselves. And so if we're the problem, we're also the solution. Takeaway 3, create a healthy addiction to achieve your goals, even in the face of adversity. She tells a story about the first time she had cake. It's a weird story, you gotta read the book, but her mom was baking a cake for a party, and after the cake was baked, her mom had to hide the cake so that way Allie wouldn't be able to get it and eat it. And so they go through this Tom and Jerry game of hide and seek, but with cake. In the end, Allie eventually gets the cake after almost feeling defeated. She was able to attain the cake, and the way she did it was climbing through a window of the room that the cake was hidden in. The lesson here is to stop at nothing to achieve your goals. I know it's a silly example, but when you're faced with obstacles, just stop at nothing. Create a healthy addiction, which is an oxymoron, but seriously, just like addicts will stop at nothing to get their high, you should do the same with your dreams and goals. Because think of those times when you really wanted something and were so passionate about it, you probably achieved that thing and succeeded. It's because you had that killer instinct mentality, which is that ruthless determination to succeed. And I'm learning how to code right now, and man, coding is kicking my derriere, but I refuse to go against the deal I made with myself. I cannot negotiate with myself because, I made that deal, and I gotta have that killer instinct mentality. Now I need that instinct with the gym. Takeaway 4, find the good. Find the good in yourself and others and cling to it. Find reasons to love someone even when there doesn't seem to be many reasons. Finding the good in people is important. It allows you to learn how to use them. And if you can do that with others, you can do that with yourself. Allie talks about how they adopted a dog, not the simple dog I mentioned earlier, but a different dog. And their goal in adopting this dog was to get the most unwanted pet to see if they can turn things around for them. What they found was that there wasn't anything lovable about this dog, and the dog didn't really love back. So they listed a ton of problems with this dog, including problems the dog created on its own. But examples are the dog doesn't sleep, the dog licks itself while creepily staring at guests, making them feel uncomfortable. The dog hated other dogs, and because the dog knew it couldn't get rid of the other dogs, it would angrily bark at them to terrify them. Right? The dog hated birds, hated hugs, and a bunch of other things. But Allie chose to look at the negatives in order to find the positives. So for example, the dog would make a great guard dog. If intruders came, the dog eats his own poop, and Allie looked at it as recycling. As gross as that sounds, Allie found positive reasons to love her dog. And it's how, parents do with their children. It's that unconditional love. I think there are 2 lessons here, one in regards to yourself and one in regards to others. So first, with yourself, you should always find reasons to love yourself. I think we all go through those insecure moments of things we hate about ourselves, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, whatever it is. We have to find the positive in what we consider the negatives within ourselves. There are many of us who hate our smiles, for example. There's a J. Cole line in Crooked Smile where he goes, they tell me I should fix my grill because I got money now. I ain't gonna sit around and front like I ain't thought about it. Perfect smile is more appealing, but it's funny how my shit is crooked. Look at how far I done got without it. I keep my twisted grill just to show the kids it's real. We ain't picture perfect, but we worth the picture still. And that positivity in J. Cole's lyrics is and him not loving his smile is showing that as much as society wants to claim your smile is equal to your worth, it isn't. Because you have more to bring to the table than a smile. Many celebrities don't get their teeth fixed until they have money, so find ways to love yourself. And secondly, as it pertains to others, if we find the good in people, it allows us to understand where to place them in our lives. We get to compartmentalize. This person may not be good at communicating, but they're good at listening and giving advice. So this person, I shouldn't really expect them to share much because they don't know how to. That doesn't mean they still aren't of value in my life. They're just of value in certain different aspects. Takeaway 5, there is hope in the unknown, so stick around. Here, Allie talks about her depression and that she didn't feel like there was any hope in the world. And randomly one day, she lays on her kitchen floor. She found a piece of corn hidden under her fridge. And for whatever reason, unbeknownst to her, she started laughing hysterically. The confusion in that made her feel like even though nobody can guarantee that things will be okay, we can always be sure that the possibility is in fact there. The reason why the corn made her realize that is because she didn't expect the corn to be there. So in a funny way, knowing that there are unexpected things that we don't know will happen, it's a comforting way to look at things, to stick around and push through our own anxiety, our own depression, because the same way the corn surprised her and she was able to laugh about it and not really know why it was there to make her laugh, life can do the same thing to you. So the lesson here is to expect the unexpected and to never give up on yourself. I know it sounds cliche, but most cliche sayings have so much truth to them. We may feel like, things may not get better. I was listening to a recent interview, Steve Harvey interview on Earn Your Leisure, and he said one thing where he was like, ask yourself, how many bad days have you had? Then ask yourself, how many of those bad days did you overcome, right? The answer to that is all of them. If you're watching this video, you have 100% success rate in overcoming your bad days. So no matter how long that quote unquote bad day is lasting, whether it's a day, a month, 6 months, just know that all you have to do is understand that it's a moment and it won't last forever, and you overcome all of them, all right? Takeaway 6, don't allow others to leave you blind and take advantage of you. Here, Allie tells a story of when she was younger, of how her sister, and her mom got lost in the woods, but their mom didn't want to admit it, and I guess she was too prideful, and I'm sure their mom didn't want to scare them and was trying to protect them and maybe truly believed they'd find their way out. But after quite a while, the mom ended up feeling helpless, frustrated, and it all came out. They ended up finding help and were able to make it home, but the mom the mom was a little scared and it all came out. So the lesson here in reading that is don't allow someone to lead you blind, right? If you're being led blind, then that's when you'll get taken advantage of. Always inquire about where you're going, so you're aware and you can make a fully educated decision. I'm actually learning this now at my job. My boss wants like a plan for my vision of where I want the company to go, and I understand why. I get it, because while we may both want to be going in the same destinations, our route isn't the same. And because our route isn't the same, he would like to know exactly where we're going, so that can help ease his anxiety. Because while I have zero intentions of taking advantage of him, and he knows that, it's important he understands where he's going, even though he knows that, 7, the world doesn't owe you understanding. We all go through this. We have a plan, life has a different plan. And then we gasp, like, how dare you? Because we can't fathom how life doesn't cooperate sometimes. And the truth is, life, the world, God, the universe, whatever you believe or don't believe, they don't owe you understanding. We are here to make the best of it with no guarantees. We can only make the best of our opportunities and be open to failure, because one thing about opportunities is they are always around. We do the best we can and we continue. Don't allow yourself to assume that everything will revolve around you and everything will go your way. It may not, and that's okay. Don't disappoint yourself when reality doesn't do what you want it to do, when you know reality may not. Takeaway 8, you are not alone in your thoughts. She has these moments and thoughts that she wouldn't want others to know that she's having. And she depicts them in words as well as in pictures. And as she was talking about it and drawing it out, I related so much. I was like, yep, that's me. I was like, yeah, that's me too. And it's funny to think that she doesn't want others to know what she's thinking because she feels shame. Now imagine if she never wrote this book and shared it. I might think I'm alone in the way I think, but I'm not. And that brings me comfort, because I know I'm not alone in my thoughts, and I'm not that different from everyone else. There are others like me. I'm not some weird alien, I'm human after all. Or am I some weird alien? That was awkward. Number 9, it's okay to be selfish. Allie talks about a fear that someday someone will ask her for a kidney if she's a match. And that because she doesn't want to feel bad for saying no, she'll see if she'd be a match, but she will hold deep down that she isn't a match, so that way she can say no without feeling guilty. There was a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode about this. Watch that show, it's funny, but being asked to give a kidney is a huge deal. It's not like asking for a pencil. It's not an easy yes or no. There are many risks to consider, and you shouldn't feel guilty for having to mull it over. The lesson here is, yes, altruism is the preferred way to go. But I think there are times when you have to be selfish. A kidney is an extreme example, but sometimes it's important to be selfish in your own career choices, relationships with others, etc. So it's okay to be selfish. Number 10, reward yourself when you try, even when the feelings don't match. There's a point in the book where she comes to the realization that there's beauty in trying. She talks about having these negative urges that she never actually acts on, but questions why she has those urges. For whatever reason, she says she is someone who would throw sand at others and will push them if they aren't allowing her to do what she wants. And if she weren't actively resisting these urges, she would be naturally just doing them. Then she realizes that she should be proud of herself for not doing those things because it comes easy to her to do those things. So it's a sign of self-control, right? The lesson here is being proud of trying even when the feelings don't match, right? So for example, making an effort to go to the gym for a week, not going the following week, and then going back again. Sure, you weren't as consistent as you'd like, but you went. And you should be proud of that. If you're someone who gets angry all the time and has to find ways to cool off and not to act on your anger, be proud of that because you are stopping your urges, taking a minute to think, and then allowing your mind to come to reason. Again, as I mentioned earlier, these are examples of small wins. So reward yourself for trying. There's beauty in the struggle. And as I'm thinking about this right now, there's like one more, takeaway, which is find the funny. This book is hilarious. And while it's serious, it's chock full of jokes, which makes it so relatable because the jokes, while jokes, are so true, right? Comedy in itself can be a very important coping mechanism and allows you to laugh at whatever it is you're going through. Not taking ourselves too seriously is so beneficial because it allows us to manage pain and handle whatever life throws at us so much better. But yeah, I think that's it. If you're someone who's ever battled with even a mild amount of anxiety, depression, or mental struggles, I think you should check this book out because if you feel like you're alone in your thoughts, this book really shows that you're not alone and that it's normal to go through waves of emotions as long as you are constantly self-reflecting and being a work in progress. But that's it for me. If this was helpful to you at all, please subscribe and like the video. Leave a comment to tell me what you think. Have you read the book? What are your thoughts? What were your takeaways? Also, if you got some book recommendations for me, I'm always reading every night, so let me know and I might even review it. So I appreciate you, and as always, trust your ideas and execute.